Hi guys, welcome to, or welcome back to, the Storytime Society. How are you guys today? Let me know. This person below me will not stop opening and closing their garage, and I am very confused. Because, do you need help? Do you need some assistance? Like, I will help you if you're trying to fix your garage or something. I think I know how to actually fix it because I've had some problems before with a garage. But they've literally shut and closed it, or closed and opened it like 5 to 6 times within the past 7 minutes. It's going too far at this point. But anyways, despite that, happy Friday, right? I keep like losing track of time because now at this point I'm literally filming every single day. So I don't know, but those of you who watched my true crime episode, thank you so much. And those of you who didn't, it's okay. I know that true crime is not for everyone. So I'm glad that the people who enjoy true crime are going to enjoy the true crime episodes. I did get a little bit of feedback, and I kind of like had feedback myself because while I was doing it, I was like, okay, this isn't gonna work out the same as like a normal Reddit story. Like this is like a literal crime case, and I can't just like go into it blind and just read off of it because there are some things that like I'm not gonna know how to pronounce. Why does it sound like someone's trying to get into my apartment right now? That's my biggest fear. I think it's happened like 5 times during filming. Like I literally will freak out because I feel like I hear someone trying to get into my apartment. But I swear I just heard the beep to my security like pad on the outside, and it's been really scaring me. And let me know if you guys have any experience with this or if you have any suggestions, because I don't really like, I saw on TikTok this video of this girl, and she had these issues living in this apartment building where her maintenance guy was coming in while she was sleeping at like 2 a.m. or like 3 a.m. in the middle of the night, coming in because they have the key to get in and they can get into anybody's apartment. And he was coming in, and she didn't have a way to like prove it, so she got a camera right next to the door. So the next time he came in, he opened the door and like the camera light flashed really bright to show that it was recording, and he immediately backed up and shut the door because he knew he was doing something wrong, obviously. And that literally scared the living shit out of me, and I don't want anyone having access to my apartment. Like, I don't care if, you know, like obviously it's like they want to have access in case of emergency or whatever. I don't care in case of emergency. Let me die. I would much rather sleep at night knowing that not every single person, like, we don't know who these maintenance guys are. I highly doubt they do a heavy background check for like maintenance guys. I'm like actually shitting my pants right now. Why does it sound like someone's coming up my stairs? My heart's pounding. Well, I hope this isn't my last moment alive, but as I was saying, I really just don't want anyone to have access to my apartment. Not like Joe Schmo has access to my apartment, and they can just, and we have like the little cat, like the pad outside. So I'm assuming like maintenance could easily just go in, get their own code. Like it comes up with an individual code for each person that has access. And I'm like, no thanks. So if you have any recommendations of like manual locks that I can put in, like, you know, I've seen those like metal things that people put in like hotel room doors, and I want to get one or something to protect, like, and not have everyone have access, because like, no thanks. I mean, I just don't think that it's safe to do that. Like, I genuinely think it's going out of date or out of style. I don't know what the phrase is, but not everyone should have access, or there shouldn't be like an all access key. Like, these are people's literal lives. Like, I'm literally living in here. I don't think that anyone else besides me should have access to my house, even if I'm renting. Like, I just don't think that is safe at all, because I don't know who these people are. The fact that they can enter my apartment at any time, I mean, technically they can't, but they can, like they have access to it at any time. That's the scariest thing ever to me, and no thank you. I just don't think that is right at all, and I think they need to change that, truly, because especially with me, my anxiety is always on 10 about that stuff. Like I get so scared, and then I see stuff on TikTok like that, and I'm like, oh, so it does happen. Like that stuff does happen. So like it could possibly happen to me, and that would be literally the scariest time of my life. So no, thank you. Let me know if you have any recommendations of manual locks or whatever I can put on my door. I don't obviously can't like drill anything, so it's not like I can get like one of those like bolt things. I can't remember what they're called right now, but little chain thingies. I can't like install that on my door because like I'm renting, so I need like a renter friendly lock. But yeah, that is just so scary to me, and I've been thinking about that so much lately. Like the fact that it would just be so easy for any of those people to get into my apartment that I'm living in is so scary to me and so unreal. But anyways, yeah, happy Friday. Like I said, I think I don't even know where I was going with the true crime stuff, but obviously, if you like true crime, I'm going to start uploading true crime videos Mondays and Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. And I'm still going to keep, obviously, my regular schedule with the regular Reddit stories, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And yeah, these are just going to be like extra episodes. I'm not sure how long they'll be. Sometimes they'll be shorter for the true crime episodes, and sometimes they'll be longer. Like I know my last one that I filmed was like 50 minutes, around there or something, just because the story was super long. And some of them aren't going to be as long, but I'm excited to start delving into the true crime community, like of content, because I've been involved in the true crime like listening community. That's definitely not the word, but okay. I have a doctor's appointment in literally an hour, so I gotta get this show on the road. And I also have like people dropping furniture off and rugs off and stuff, so I'm like filming, and then I need my doctor's appointment. I don't know why I always get so stressed about them when it's literally like a 20-minute thing. It's not even that serious, but I just always get anxious beforehand just because, like, I don't know. It's just a task, you know? It's just a task that I have to complete that I just don't feel like completing again for like the 5th time. Oh my God. Stop the automatic feeders. All right. So the first story is going to be this. Let's click. Oh, it's really short, but let's see. Will I be the asshole if I told my wife's dead husband's parents to stop coming to see our daughter? I've been married to my wife for about 2 years now, and we had our daughter a year ago. Now, my wife was married before. She got married pretty young, but her husband died. I knew all of this and have just been fine with it until now. See, she's still pretty close to her dead husband's parents, and they were excited for the birth of our child. For your information, they only had one son, no other children at all. They have been coming over to our place about once a week. It was fine at first, but it's gotten kind of suffocating. They have visited us more times than either her parent or my parents. They have even stayed over at our house at times. Something I wouldn't even like, even if they were my own parents. Another thing, they talk about their dead son a lot, which is usually fine, but they have made some comments that make me uncomfortable. They even said my daughter kind of looks like him, and his mom even said, oh, if she's this why? Can they spell, please? Oh, if she's this cute, imagine how cute your kids would have been, if only, when talking to my wife. She was going to say more, but I think she realized what she was about to say. I was right there. I want to be amicable, and I knew that there was going to be some moments like this, but it's starting to make me feel uncomfortable. Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine. That's definitely hard. Like, I can understand being close but there has to be some boundaries. And maybe if the wife obviously wants them around, it seems like there can be like a happy medium. I feel like if he just talks to his wife, I don't know if he has or not yet because he didn't really mention that, but I feel like if he would just talk to his wife and be like, hey, like I'm not really comfortable with the amount that they're coming over, but like obviously it wouldn't be, I don't think it would be right to just be like, you need to stop seeing them altogether. Maybe like once a month. I mean, it's really like, that is a lot. Even like to have, if you don't even have your own parents coming that often. Sorry, excuse me. Oh my God, that's like my signature. But I do understand, like I think that would be really hard. And also, not only that, but it's like, okay, those boundaries, but then also like the boundaries for like what you're saying. You definitely shouldn't be saying that in front of my husband. And I feel like she definitely needs to have a talk with them and be like, hey, I understand, like obviously this situation, like it's something new that not a lot of people know how to navigate. I don't think that it's like the easiest common sense thing to navigate, but the one thing that is common sense to me is that you definitely don't say things like, oh, if she's this cute, imagine how cute your kids would have been if you would kids with my son. Like your kids, like basically saying that your kids would be so much cuter if your kids are cute. Like the kids with my son would be even cuter. Like that's just weird to say and would make me very uncomfortable. I agree. Like if I were in that position and it were me and my husband and he had been married before, but she passed away and his mom was like, or I guess they're not his mom, they're the late wife's mom would be like saying how much cuter they would be, I would feel like shit. I'd be like, no way you just said that. Like, there's absolutely no way you just said that. That would be so shocking to me. Okay. Some comments are, not the asshole. They're clinging to you guys in the wake of losing their son, but there needs to be boundaries in place. It begins with a conversation with your wife and working in unison. What does she say? My wife thinks it's fine. She says she sees them the same as her own parents. Not the asshole. You are understandably uncomfortable with the situation. Your wife loves these people like her own parents, which often blinds us to boundary stomping. The late husband's parents are grieving and need more therapy to help them have a healthy relationship with your wife and child. Next time you bring it up to your wife, focus on how it makes you feel and how you think that it can be detrimental to your child. It might help you to reframe the discussion, to ask her to imagine how intrusive this would be if these were your in-laws. Because regardless of the relationship, they are intruding on your life, your home, and potentially your child's mental well-being. Every time your wife tells you it's okay, remind her that it's not okay with you. And don't stop reminding her until the two of you are able to come to an agreement that is workable for both of you. I say this from the point of view of having seen my late sister-in-law's mother lose her mind after my sister-in-law died. She tried to take custody of the kids away from my brother. Everything about her grieving process was incredibly toxic to those around her. You are much better off here than my brother was, but that doesn't mean you have to give up your peace of mind in your own home. You're the dad, and you get to have a say in how your kid is raised / treated / spoken to. Oh yeah, the kid's mental health is going to be important in the long run for sure if this keeps up. The baby is already being compared to children that can never be. The baby is being judged on her relation to a dead man, which is none. Imagine growing up being constantly compared to somebody that doesn't exist, constantly being a disappointment to the people judging you because they have an ideal in their head that they could never possibly be reality. Imagine growing up being constantly compared to somebody that doesn't exist. Yep, live that life. It effing sucks. I didn't even think about that while reading, and you're 100% right. Dad needs to nip this in the bud before the kid is old enough to remember it. I lived it as well. I could never be the child my dad would have loved if I'd been the son he dreamed of. First time I ever heard him speak my name out loud was when I was 17 and his ex came back pregnant with a boy and let him adopt by being named on the birth certificate as the father. Until then, he'd always introduced me to people as kid or the kid, but when he finally got the baby boy, he proudly told everyone the full name whenever he got the chance. And then neither that child or the younger brother who came after could live up to the son he'd always imagined having. And in my 20s, Dad declared I was his favorite because I came closest to the being that he'd hoped for. Whoa, that's actually really upsetting. Jesus, someone commented, Jesus effing Christ, this is awful. It feels like I'm reading something about heirs in the 1600s or something. I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. I don't think anyone in the wife's position ever truly gets over their spouse's death, especially if they were together from a very young age. You can heal and be ready to move on, but anyone saying they get over it implies they aren't attached anymore or don't still feel that loss, and that's just not going to happen. It's part of who they are. Yeah, I agree with that, but it's not really a matter of getting over it. It's more like, I don't think that he's worried about his wife getting over the death of her previous spouse. I think the biggest concern he has is the parents being over all the time and making inappropriate comments, which is 100% understandable. Like, I would not want that either, so. Okay. Hi, Bubby. He's a good boy. Okay, the next title is, Am I the asshole for not wanting to help my best friend with her pregnancy because the baby daddy is my abusive ex-boyfriend? Sorry. I'm just going to keep getting scared about noises. I, 24 female, broke up with my ex-boyfriend Ryan, 27 male, 1 month before my best friend Dana, 30 female, told me about her pregnancy. We had broken up because of his abusive nature, which I will likely not discuss further in this post, and during the whole situation, Dana was my support. She was like a big sister to me and was always there if I needed to vent or to cry on her shoulder. In fact, when I finally broke up with Ryan, I was living with him, so I had to stay at Dana's apartment until I could find a place of my own. So you can understand how much betrayal I felt when Dana told me the baby was Ryan's. A week ago, Dana called me to tell me she was pregnant. She then told me that because she was alone in her apartment, she was requesting that I'd move back in to help her with the pregnancy and if I could take care of the baby when she was at work. Of course, I was happy for her and agreed to help her. I felt like I was becoming an aunt. That was until I asked her who the father was. She then took a deep breath and started sobbing while apologizing in a weak voice. She said, Ryan. All I did in the moment was cut the call because I was just so shocked that I didn't even know what to do. Right now, it is almost midnight, and she has sent me a bunch of texts asking for my forgiveness and saying that she didn't want to lie to me and that she really needs help right now. I don't know if I can just forgive and forget this. I mean, the woman's asking me to live with her after dropping this big of a secret. Am I the asshole? No. And I would never be friends with you again. Bye. Like, I don't care. I don't care if you're desperate for help. If that is the case and you knew how much your best friend was going through, not only that, but you're going to have a child with someone that you know is abusive and was abusive to someone close to you, and you're going to put a child through having a father like that, because how do you know he's not going to be abusive to this child? What? Or you, even if you're not planning on being together, that means, the child's going to have to be alone with their dad at some point, I'm assuming, if he wants to have anything to do with the child. And then who's to say that he's not going to abuse this child if he's capable of abusing his partner? I don't know what kind of abuse she's talking about, but any kind of abuse obviously is not okay. But if it's physical abuse, that can lead to the death of the child. So some of the comments are saying, no, she betrayed you and now is asking you to get entangled with your abusive ex. Do not engage. He's always going to be around her now, and you don't need to put yourself in this drama. Not the asshole. Don't feel bad. She made this bed and needs to lay on it on her own. Exactly. Even if we take the fact that the ex was abusive out of the equation, Dana was screwing OP's partner because she didn't just magically get pregnant and find out in the month that OP broke up with him. So Dana was cheating with her best friend's partner. The fact is that would be enough to cut her off. Without the fact that the ex was abusive, knowing the guy is abusive makes it worse. Because while Dana was being OP's shoulder to cry on, comforting her over her abusive relationship, Dana was sleeping with her best friend's abuser. It couldn't get worse if they were meeting up to laugh at OP behind her back. OP doesn't owe Dana anything at this point. If she wants help, she can go to a friend whose partner she didn't bang. OP should put as much distance between her and Dana as possible. And then more comments to that comment. I'm trying to understand how Dana could sit here and comfort OP while she was going through hell with her ex and still think, gotta get me some of that Ryan. Dana needs to ask her baby daddy for help. Wow, the ball's on this chick. Shouldn't the ex be helping with the child? Kind of confused, she called OP. Also, you're right about the cheating. I don't know any pregnancy test that you can use around 3 weeks. I'm guessing the ex told her to F off and now Dana has no one. Not OP's problem. I couldn't imagine raising my ex's kid, let alone an abusive one. OP needs to think of her own mental well-being. I mean, she moves in and the ex starts coming around. Dana obviously has no morals. He shows up and they go into the bedroom while OP is home. I would lose my shit. Ew, yeah, what? No. I would say that you should never be friends with this girl again, but there's an update on here, so. Okay, update. Am I the asshole for not wanting to help my best friend with her pregnancy because the baby daddy is my abusive ex-boyfriend? I did not expect to wake up and see my post receive this many upvotes and comments, so I would first like to thank everyone who contributed. I read a few responses which influenced the decisions I took today. Also, if you want to read my original post, you can go into my profile and it'll be right under this one. I texted Dana that she was dead to me and that what she did hurt me more than any of the abuse I suffered, and that each time the baby kicks, it feels like Ryan throwing a plate at her head. What? I told her to never talk to me or even look in my direction ever again. I hoped that when she goes into labor that the baby kills her before she ever gets the chance to even see it, and then I blocked her. Whoa. I still feel like shit after all of this. I don't feel like I'll ever get the proper closure I need until I hear that something terrible has happened to her. I'm going to try to move on from all of this on my own, thinking about quitting my job and moving so that she can't show up at my work or at my apartment. My face is all red and puffy because of how much I've been crying. I just wish my life gets easier now that I'm leaving. Okay, and some of the comments. That was kind of crazy, to be honest. I mean, I understand being angry and, like, obviously say things that you don't mean in the heat of the moment like that, but I would probably not say those things. That's just me, though. I mean, obviously, like, she can react however she wants to because it's her trauma, but I think that she would probably feel bad if that actually ended up happening. Like, maybe she thinks that she wants that to happen, but then once it actually happened, I feel like she would definitely feel even worse because, I don't know, I don't know. I just feel like if that were me and I said those things to someone that was my best friend, even though they hurt me this badly, if they actually ended up dying during childbirth, like, I would definitely feel so shitty. Okay, some of the comments say, it wouldn't be my response, but you will get through this. Agree, seek some counseling. You want to get to a place where you're indifferent of the outcome. That's when you'll know you've completely healed. I wouldn't necessarily say that. It's one outcome, but having the internal skills, knowledge, and emotional resilience to effectively navigate those emotions is a damn good way to end up healed as well. You don't have to end up feeling nothing to be okay. I don't think they were saying feeling nothing. Nothing and indifferent, I think, are two different things. Like you just are neutral about the situation, not feeling like numb to the situation. I feel like those are two different things, but I don't really know exactly how to explain it. I think OP gave a wonderful response to her friend who betrayed her by sleeping with her abusive ex. After that, she decides on having this baby and then trying to emotionally manipulate OP to help raise their child, meaning she'd have to be surrounded by two people who hurt / betrayed / abused her. That's a cruel thing to do for ex-friend to even think to ask is just as bad. Honestly, the audacity of Dana, how the hell could she even look her in the eyes and ask for help? No, I'm okay with her response, but definitely she needs some therapy after the way that she was treated. I kind of feel that way too. I don't know what this person's responding to. The first comment, I think, saying it wouldn't be my response, but you will get through this. I think that's what they're commenting back to. I definitely would have responded differently. Maybe not so hostile and violent, but definitely have some strong words about how I feel betrayed and disgusted. She had the audacity to try and manipulate me to take care of a child she's having with my abuser, but therapy is a great place to start. I'm sorry you were betrayed by someone you trusted the most. OP, you already have heard something bad happen to her. She got pregnant by your abusive ex. She's going to have to deal with him for a lifetime. Since she was most likely sleeping with him before y'all broke up, she made her bed. You, on the other hand, got away from that mess. Definitely seek out therapy and live the best life you can away from that trash. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's going to be hell to raise a child with someone that is that bad. But honestly, I don't really wish that upon anyone. Although, what she did was wrong, I don't wish for, I wouldn't wish for another person to get abused. And also, I wouldn't wish for this child, because the child's going to be in the middle of it. So anything really that the mom is going to go through, the child's also going to go through or witness, and it's going to be the child's trauma. So I feel although, yeah, it's very hurtful and it's just extremely terrible. I wouldn't wish abuse on someone else, even if they had done that to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but especially if I had been through that kind of abuse myself, I would never wish that on someone else. That would just, I don't know. You know what I mean? I would just never wish that on someone else, no matter what they did. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if they killed my mom, then I would definitely wish them some terrible things. But if they did that, I wouldn't be wishing such terrible things on them. Okay, next story. My female 41, husband, male 39, didn't get me a birthday present despite reminders, and I am so disappointed and angry. Is this breakup level offense? Last year, when I, female 41, turned 40, my husband of 12 years, male 39, gave me a handmade note saying, "Happy birthday, I'll treat you to the spa." That spa visit never materialized, of course. This year, I sent him links to jewelry I would like, $25 to $50. Money is no issue. We both save about $5,000 each every month and live a very comfortable life. My birthday was a month ago. He didn't get me anything. I raised it with him after a week and said it made me sad that he didn't get me anything and that I'd love something little. He said he wanted to get me noise-canceling headphones but hadn't bought them because he wanted to check in with me first. It's been 3 weeks now, and of course, I still haven't gotten anything. He turns 40 in a month. I want to be petty and give him a handmade note saying that I'll treat him to the spa. The thing that upsets me is that a friend of ours turned 40, and her husband gave her a really expensive gift that was $8,500. That needed assembling. My husband spent 3 entire weeks helping them put the thing together, and he spent exactly 0 seconds on me, even after I said it would mean a lot to me. I am too low maintenance, am I not? And he obviously doesn't care very deeply. I don't want to bring it up again because I know I will just be more disappointed. But really, this isn't normal, is it? Is it time for a divorce? Okay, some of the top comments say. Then stop raising the conversation and sit this grown-ass man down and tell him that you don't appreciate him spending 3 weeks making another man's wife's present when he couldn't bother to get you anything. Quit letting him worm his way out of this because you want to wait 3 or 4 weeks on him. Ask him why he doesn't care enough about something that you expressed that you cared about. Be direct. Make your decision from there. But it doesn't sound like your husband likes you very much. I agree with this. Be direct. No hinting, no just wondering. One difficult conversation, and OP will have the answer she's looking for. His response will tell her everything that she needs to know. But I'm guessing she already knows what his response will be. And that's why she's asking if it's time for divorce. Well, to be honest, I need more context because, oh my gosh, like, I know that obviously some people don't feel like this is like as big of a like deal as it is when you're dating and stuff, but, and not me taking it back to my ex again. I'm always like relating something back to my ex, I feel like. But my ex of 4 years literally bought me like one present for out of the whole 4 years that we were dating, and like maybe 2. He got me like, what did he get me? He got me Converse once for, I don't even remember what it was for, like Christmas maybe. And for my birthdays, he literally never got me anything other than on my 20th birthday, he got me 20 shooters. I don't know if I've told that story before, like 20 alcohol shooters, the little like nip bottles. And you know, I mean, he barely even said happy birthday to me and stuff. And like, when I was dating him, I really, every time that like something happened like that, like I was like, he never did anything for me. And I would talk to him about it. I'd be like, I'm really upset that you didn't get me a birthday present. You don't really make a big deal. Like, it's not like that I want like the craziest things for my birthday, especially when we were in college. But like, saying happy birthday at 5 p.m. on my birthday when we've been dating for years, or even if we just started dating, like never making a big deal or even a mediocre deal of my birthday, or even just like a little deal of it. Like, for real, I had classmates wishing me happy birthday before you were wishing me happy birthday, like my own boyfriend who's like supposed to be the closest person to me. And yeah, he literally never ever was like good on holidays or my birthday. He never like did sweet acts of, what is it called? I don't know. He never went out of his way to like give me flowers, even though I would constantly bring up how I wish that he would do something like that, like give me flowers or like kiss me hello or kiss me goodbye or like say I love you when we're leaving each other or like when we're hanging up the phone. Like things like that were such a hard thing for him to do. And those are all things that maybe to some people wouldn't be a big deal because they have different love languages, but to me that's something that I knew for the rest of my life. Like just little things like that, I would never be happy in that relationship if I continued it. So like I always took that into account, and that's why we broke up so many times, is because I'd be like, you're never doing these things for me that I'm constantly asking you to do. And then the more that I ask you, the more that it just loses the value once you do it. And like, even though he never did it until we would break up and he'd get me like flowers and stuff, but never once while we were dating did he ever do that kind of stuff for me. It was only when we broke up. So you can see why I would break up with him so often, because then he would do that and then it'd be like, oh, perfect. He'd write me like a long letter, which I always wanted him to do while we were together, like just cute little acts of kindness or showing love, like in any possible way. And it was just so hard for him. So I'm just wondering, like in this situation, obviously it's different because they're married, but like, and it's not like I can blame her. Maybe she didn't feel like it was that big of a deal, but wouldn't this guy probably be like that before they got married, you know? That's why like I think it's so important to not settle, and I just feel like I see way too many people settling nowadays for just to be in a relationship, because like people hold on to a relationship that feels even semi-good, and they'll hold on to it for dear life because they think they're never going to find anything better. But I genuinely promise you, it's not worth it. Like if you are seeing so many things missing from a relationship that you need in a relationship or want in a relationship, and you're just like, okay, well, it's fine, he does these things, but like he doesn't do all of these things that I want him to do, but whatever, it's fine, like I can deal with that. You probably can't if it's really bothering you that much, you know? So like I seriously urge everyone that is in a relationship, and it's not like I'm some relationship guru at all, literally in no way, shape, or form am I, but like I feel like if I would have, like, I genuinely feel like I just have so much experience with this specific thing, because I feel like if I would have stayed with my ex, which I could have stayed with him, and I was so unhappy in that relationship, but I genuinely thought that when I was in that relationship that was as good as it was going to get. And obviously at times, like, we did get along really well, and we, you know, things were good, but more like there were a lot of bad things too. And that's not how it should be, and you shouldn't have to like fight and like play tug of war with someone just to treat you the way that you want to be treated. So where was I going with that? Like, I just feel like, what was I going to say? Now I'm like going all over the place. But, if I were to stay with him, which I could have, and when I broke up with him, it was like, he was like sending me all these pictures saying these were like rings that I was looking at. And I was like, thank God I didn't stay with him, because no way in hell, if he proposed, I'm sure I would have said yes, because like, I don't know, I didn't know any better. I was literally blind for 4 years. I was blind, but I wasn't. Like, I knew what I was in, and I knew that I wasn't happy, but I just kept thinking like, he's going to change, because he would always say that he would, like, if I give him another chance, he'll change. And he never did. I gave him 27 chances and he never did. So it's like, but I know that if I would have stayed in that relationship, we would have probably gotten engaged. I don't know if we would have ever gotten married, but then it would be, if we did get married, like, I would be stuck in that relationship, and this post would probably be me. I would literally be like, this would be exactly me, because this is exactly the kind of thing that I would like talk to my friends about. Like, my boyfriend literally didn't say happy birthday until 5 p.m. the day of my birthday, and didn't get me a present. Like, hello? And that is a red flag. Unless you actually don't care about those things and the ways that you need to be fulfilled in a relationship, you are, you know, because everyone has different needs and wants in a relationship. So like, if it didn't matter to you, and if other things mattered way more to you that they did, then obviously in that case it's different. But like, everyone is different, and if you don't feel like your needs are being met in a relationship, do not stay with them, because then you're going to end up being with them for 12 years married, and he's not even getting you a $25 birthday present when you've sent him repetitive links asking him, or just telling him, this is what you like and this is what you would like for your birthday. And like, why is it so hard? He could have literally just clicked on one of those links and been like, okay, order. Like, he didn't even have to look at it or make any effort. All he had to do was enter his credit card information and buy this gift that was a fraction of the money that he puts away every month. So it obviously is not money that's an issue. It's just that he doesn't care enough about his wife to do something to make her happy. And in that case, you guys should get divorced, because although as the title is read, like, okay, that doesn't seem like that big of a deal. But when you really think into it, it's like, why are you even married then? Why is the guy even married to this girl? Because it seems like he just doesn't even give a shit about her. And why are you married if you don't give a shit about your wife? That's just the craziest thing to me. And that's that on that. I feel like I'm always, it sounds like I'm not over my ex, but like, I promise you, I have been over him since 2 years before we even broke up. It's just things, like bad things that I see about relationships always relate back to that. And I just like to like use obviously that's what being a human is. You use your past experiences to relate to other experiences, and that's what I do a lot. But it seems like I'm being repetitive, but all I can really do is relate my experiences or like people close to me's experiences to things like this to kind of form my opinion. Because isn't that human development? We all develop differently because of our experiences, and that's why it's so important to be open-minded, I feel like, because this is just getting into like a bigger conversation, but with things like how a lot of people obviously, like specifically, not specifically, but for example, like maybe a super religious person, they were raised super religious. So then they expect everyone else to be thinking the same way as them. Like, why are you this way? This is not the way that I was raised. This is, and like they think the way that they were raised is the right way to be raised. And they think that like they look down on this person because they make different decisions than them. But what this person fails to think about is the fact that, yeah, just because you were raised that way does not mean that this person was raised that way. And the person that was raised a different way than you is thinking a completely different way than you. Therefore, they're making different decisions than you. And their life is completely different because they don't have the same experiences as you. So you're both making different decisions based on past experiences and the way that you grew up and the experiences that you've had, which is why I hate that people think, like a lot of people think that everyone needs to be this one way, like, and that always pisses me off because it's like, no, just because you think that's the right way does not mean other people think that's the right way. You know what I mean? I don't know if that made sense, but that is always what bothered me. And that's honestly how I was raised. Like I was raised to think that the way that I was raised was right, and the way that other people, like to condemn people that were raised differently than me, or not to condemn, but to try to influence them to be more like the way that I was raised, you know? But then like when you grow up and you're not just like letting your family members who have very closed minds taint the way that you think, then you're like, oh, wait, why am I expecting all these people to be the same exact way as I am? We were raised completely differently, and that's okay. And maybe their way of living is better than the way that I live. Have you ever thought of that? You know? Because sometimes I think about that. I'm like, actually, maybe this way of thinking was not actually like the right way of thinking. I don't think there's like necessarily a right way of thinking. I think a lot of things can be right at once, but now I'm just ranting. Now I'm just being like, I don't even know what I'm saying. I feel like I'm being a philosopher right now, but not like using just random words and putting them together. Okay. This is the last story we're going to read. I think I just actually talked for 35 minutes straight about random mumbo jumbo. But that's just me. Okay. Am I the asshole for not contributing to my brother's wedding expenses? I can already tell this is like what? I, 18 female, have an older brother, Mike, 28 male, who is getting married in a few months. Our family is pretty close and we've always supported each other. Recently, Mike and his fiance have run into some budget issues with their wedding. A few weeks ago, Mike asked if I could contribute financially to help cover some of the wedding costs. He knows I've been saving money I earned from my part-time job for college expenses and some personal goals. I explained that I wouldn't be able to help since I need those savings for my future education and other important needs. Mike seemed to understand at first, but lately he and some family members have been acting distant and cold towards me. They think I'm being selfish for not helping out, especially since I'm still living at home and don't have many expenses. I've always tried to be there for my family, but I feel like I need to prioritize my own future, especially with college coming up soon. I feel guilty for not being able to support my brother's wedding, but I also feel it's important to stick my savings plan for my education and other personal goals. Am I being unreasonable, or are they asking for too much from me? Am I the asshole for not contributing to my brother's wedding expenses? Thanks for your perspective. The fact that this is even a written statement is insane to me. Like, no, you're not. What do you mean? Bye, brother. You're 28 years old, and you think that your wedding is more important than your young 18-year-old sister's future. Like, oh, sorry that she's more responsible than you at 18 years old. How about maybe you should save more? Maybe you should put the budget down on your wedding and have more affordable wedding that you can actually afford. Why is it your sister's responsibility, the hard earned money that she has worked for and saved for her own future? That is, sorry, but way more important than your materialistic wedding. Like, I'm sorry, but why do people think that their wedding is the end all be all and like the most important thing in everyone's lives? I understand it's an important day to you, but it's not the most important day to everyone. Like, I'm really sorry to say, but also to throw it back in her face that she's been living at home, like, yeah, that is literally called the responsibility of being a parent. You're supposed to take care of your child. What do you mean? You didn't live at home until you were 18? Let me know, Mike. Were you living at home? Were you being taken care of as a minor child? Because what are you even saying? I literally want to throw hands with this man. The fact that he would even ask is crazy to me. Like, how about before you ask your tiny little 18-year-old sister who literally has experienced barely any life, you just maybe like make your wedding a little bit less expensive, maybe cut some costs, maybe have a smaller wedding. Like, I don't understand. Is it really that hard? And if the fact that other family members are acting cold towards her, girl, be done with this family for real. I can't. Okay, let's read some of the comments, see what these people are thinking. Not the asshole. He's a grown-ass adult asking a teenager for money. He should stick to what he can afford. That is money you earned, money you will need to establish yourself when you do move out. Ask the family members who are giving you trouble how much they're contributing. OP says they are all contributing a fair amount. No one needs to contribute anything to your wedding. That is a personal choice. Like, to expect anything from anyone is so, I don't even know what to call it. It's selfish. Like, to expect other people to contribute, not everyone wants to contribute to your wedding. And if they do, that's an amazing thing to be grateful for. Like, but that should never be an expectation, in my opinion. That's surprising. Still, that's their choice. That's why I feel like they're annoyed with me, but still, I don't think it's fair to be asking me. He can ask, you can say no. Everyone else should stay out of it. You need that money to start your life. He wants the money for a party. It's important to prioritize your own needs and decisions when it comes to your financial choices and future plans. A party that lasts a couple of hours, ridiculous expense. Oh my gosh. I mean, I haven't had anyone ever ask me to fund any part of their wedding, but like when I was like 20, I think, one of my sisters got married, and I felt like, I don't know if this is even the case or not, but I did feel like I was literally broke. I was a broke college student. I didn't have a job. I was going to school, taking 19 credits every semester, like also trying to live my own college life with, like, how did I even afford my rent? I don't even know what I was doing to it. Oh, I was babysitting sometimes. And then my grandma would give me like $100 a month because that's what she did with all of her grandkids in college, which I was so grateful for. And I never, like, when she started giving me $100 a month, I literally felt like it was $1,000 a month. Like, that meant so much to me. And I never expected that because I didn't know that that's what she would do. But when she started putting that in my account, I was like so grateful. And honestly, that $100 a month really helped so much because my rent wasn't that much. Like, I think I paid $450 a month for rent. But then on top of that, I also had school expenses, I had my loan, and food and other things like that. But one of my sisters was getting married, and like, obviously I was a bridesmaid. So like, I had to pay for a dress, which $130 for a dress may not seem like a lot. Like, to me, that doesn't seem like a lot now because I can afford it. But when I'm a broke ass college student, literally having like negative $20,000 in the bank, it's really hard to afford that. So I bought that. Or actually, no, I think I bought it, but then my stepmom paid me back for it. So that I was very grateful for. But then there was this bachelorette party that I was supposed to go on, but I live in Florida and my family all lives in Iowa, but then they were going somewhere out of town for it, so I would have had to buy a flight there, pay for the Airbnb, pay for the food, which was not a normal thing for a person at my age, like what, 19 years old, to be affording. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, obviously I love you, you're my sister, but I cannot attend this. And like, I'm pretty sure she was kind of mad at me for that, but like, I don't regret that because that was not something, like, for me to afford that, I would have to sacrifice a lot of things. And to be honest, I just don't think a bachelorette party is something to sacrifice, like maybe not eating for, you know? As a college student, like, I'm just so sorry. But that's why when I have my wedding, I just like don't think, like, I feel so bad asking anyone for anything, and not saying that everyone should be this way, because obviously everyone has their different opinions with things like this, but I just don't feel comfortable asking for things ever with anybody. So like, I'm going to try to make it as affordable and as easy as possible for people, because like, I'm asking them to celebrate me. And I don't want to have people having to fork out a bunch of cash just to celebrate my day. You know what I mean? I don't know, but that's how I feel about it. And that's just, some things have just led me to feel that way. Obviously, like, I'm so happy for you to be getting married and stuff, but like, I just don't think it's fair to ask people to afford these things when, especially at my young ass age, I was literally a little baby. Like, I just don't, I couldn't afford it. I'm so sorry, but I just can't. And that's what I said. I was like, I'm so sorry. I just can't afford that. Like, I would literally have to save up for months. And not only that, but I would probably, I don't even remember when, I think I would have had to take off school, like miss classes. I'm not going to do that either. Sorry. It's obviously a different situation than this, and it's definitely like less serious, because if she would have asked me for money, that would have been one thing. I probably would have been not attending that wedding if that would have been the case. Like, excuse me? Did I hear that right? You want me, an 18-year-old, to fund part of your wedding? No. How about just like maybe cancel your photographer or something? Let me take some pics. Because that's just a ridiculous ask, in my opinion. Okay. Well, my doctor's appointment is in 15 minutes. But it's online, so like, it's fine. I was gonna say that was the last story, but I think I want to read this one. It's really short, but I just like saw it pop up and I'm like, ooh. Okay, the title is, my 28 female boyfriend, 39 male, says women expire at 30. Is it time to split up? We've been together for 3 months now, and he's turning 40 in 2 weeks. We made things official on our third date, and although we live in different states, we will make time to fly to each other every weekend, no matter what. I'm not sure of how the conversation started, but we were on FaceTime talking about the state of the dating world, and he goes on to say that women expire at 30, and after that, they aren't worth anything. This triggered me and scared me because I'm obviously approaching 30. Was he trying to gaslight me and make me insecure so I stay with him? Does this mean I'll be dumped on my next birthday? Although this was said days ago, I can't stop thinking about it. Edit. After he said this, he made a trip out to my town to visit for 5 days. He's currently planning another one to me for his birthday. I don't give a shit. I don't care if he's visiting you for 5 days, girl. Cut that off. No. That's actually, I'm triggered right now. What? Girl, why are you still with this man? He is literally telling you that in 2 years you're going to be nothing. You're not going to be worth anything. You think this only applies to other women? No. He's going to look at you like this. When you're 30 years old, he's going to be like, you're not worth anything. I'm going to go fuck all these other girls that are less than 30 years old because, girl, like, what is happening? Okay, let's read some comments. This person responded to her saying, does this mean I'll be dumped on my next birthday? And said, of course not, because you're going to dump him first, right? After all, he's 9 years past his expiration date. Technically, he said women. See, men actually expire the moment they say that women expire when they hit 30. Quite the gross thing to say. Sounds like it's time for a new man. And OP said, imagine if I said men expire at 40 and after that they're useless and need to pay for intimacy. He would dump me instantly. Then tell him that. You're going to expire at 40, so I'm breaking up with you. Bye. OMG, please do this. I agree. Why 40 though? They should expire at the same age as women, so he's long past that day already. What did he say when you replied, well, what about me then? Because I assume that's what you asked after, right? Yeah, what did she say? Was she like, was she awkwardly laughing? Like, the way that I would literally flip a nut, he would probably want to break up with me because the way that I would go Tasmanian devil on his ass. Okay, break up with him yesterday. The only right answer, get rid of him. He's too fucking old for you anyway. Huge red flag. He sounds like an absolute creep. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near him. Literally, is he Leonardo DiCaprio? Like, maybe Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't say it, but he clearly thinks women expire at age 25. When he's well into, his 40s at this point with his bobblehead looking ass. He sounds like an absolute, I already said that. He's just negging you to make you insecure so you don't leave him. He probably knows that you're too good for him. I'm 23, but if my man said something like that, I'd dump him instantly. Do you see yourself at 70 to 80 years old with someone who thinks you expired 50 years ago? Do you think someone like that would care for you if you got sick, if you gained weight, if you were pregnant or postpartum with a newborn, if you suffered a loss and became depressed? That's a massive red flag. This man doesn't intend to be anyone's life partner. When OP is 80, your boyfriend will probably be dead. Cancel his next visit. Find a much better relationship. He's already expired. Yeah. I'm glad everyone is thinking the same. I just read it's been 3 months. Are you kidding me? Just dump him. This is the honeymoon and he's already negging you. What is negging? Negging? I'm looking up this. I need to know. Negging is negative feedback, is an act of emotional manipulation whereby a person makes a deliberate backhanded compliment or otherwise flirtatious remark to another person to undermine their confidence and attempt to engender in them a need for the manipulator's approval. Okay, slay. He is negging. He is really negging. And men start getting bald at 30, so this means you should be the one who dumps him. And someone said, I was thinking, in quotation marks, like it saying what she should say to him, I was thinking about what you said and realized men also have a use-by date. I asked around and the consensus was that it's 35. I'm going to cut my losses with you and have a fun year before I expire. I know you'll understand, as you brought it up first. Well done for having a relationship past your best before date. Probably won't happen again. Wait until it's red, then block. No more costly fights and horrid conversations. Yeah, literally everyone is saying that they need to break up, and I could not agree more with that. Girl, if you, for real, at 3 months, like, come on. I mean, now is the best time. Now is the easiest time to end it because 3 months is really nothing. And yeah, you should probably break up with him before he breaks up with you because it seems like he's probably going to be over it by the time you turn 30 years old and you expire. That's the craziest thing. I'm so glad I read that, though, before we ended this episode because that's just, like, so funny to me. Men like that really do exist, and that's honestly the craziest part of that whole story is the fact that he even exists. Why? Like, genuinely, why? He shouldn't anymore. But anyways, I'm going to go because I need to... Was I supposed to check in an hour beforehand? I don't know. I can't remember. But hopefully he still takes me. Okay, but I have to go get online for my doctor's appointment and tell him that I need a double dose of my anxiety medication. Actually, no. He actually recommended that I have a double dose, and so I'm going to tell him he is absolutely right. Thank you, doctor. But, yeah. I love you guys, and if you have not already, subscribe, like the video, and comment, because I love talking to you guys always and forever. Okay? Love you so much.